Hello, everyone. This is WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and I want to welcome you so much to the show. This is the Author's Corner, Meet the Author, and I am Cece Schatz. I'm the doyen of relationship building. And those of you that don't know me, what I do is really I help take you through probably one of the darkest times in your life. I just enlighten you with wonderful individuals that can brighten your day, really help you move through, and we connect you to these awesome shows that we're hoping that will build you up and really change your vibration level to the highest level so that you can step into the new life that you choose. And so that's what it's all about here on Going Solo Network. We have our website, goingsolomedia.com. And of course, if you want to reach me, all you got to do is send me an email to goingsolonetwork@gmail.com. So that's all you have to do. So we've got our homework out of the way. So now we can get right on down to the show. And we've got a lot happening today. We have one of the best authors in the world, I think, on our show. And I am just so absolutely excited to bring her forward. Her name is Ruth Klein. Welcome, Ruth.
Welcome. Hello.
Let's see there. There she is.
Hello,
great to have you.
Nice to be here.
Oh, it is so great to have you. Now, Ruth, you are an expert, a celebrity brand strategist. You're an international speaker. You're an author, an executive consultant, and you live in the Los Angeles area. So I want to thank you so much for coming on the show here today. But you've got this brand new book out, and it's called Generation Why Not? So tell us the journey of how you started in, really being an author and doing all the wonderful things that you do. So give us a little bit of touchback of your journey into the world of Ruth Klein.
Okay. So the writing journey started many years ago. In fact, over 20 years ago. And it just so happens that I am very much results oriented and productivity focused. And I remember I had 3 children at home, and someone was at the house, and I had just come home from work, and I was making dinner within 30 minutes, and he said, "How did you do that? How did you do that?" And I thought that was strange. And then I heard a lot of other moms, how can you work and have a family and all of that? And then I realized I needed to get some ideas out there. And that's when I first started. I was just going to write one book, and it's called Time Management Secrets for Working Women. And from there, it went to my most recent one, Generation Why Not, which is my 7th. And all the while with Generation Why Not, I had this hypothesis that why is it that people can reach a certain level of success and then they may lose it and then they come back? Or why is it 2 people can experience the same external circumstances and one goes into the rabbit hole or depression and one gets through it? What is that? And being interested in psychology and how our mind works and our behaviors, it still fascinates me. And I find that as long as I stay curious, I have fun with this. And what I realized, to basically reinforce my hypothesis, I interviewed several people for this book, Generation Why Not. I interviewed the real Jerry Maguire, Lee Steinberg. I interviewed several multimillionaire millennial unicorns who founded their businesses. I interviewed an 84-year-old man who's retired from insurance, who's written 4 books and is excited about marketing his 4th book. And I've interviewed a young woman in her mid-30s to early 30s to mid-30s. And she was very successful in a fitness industry with her husband. And then they ended up getting divorced. He ended up taking all of the technology, proprietary information, intellectual property, and she had to start from scratch again. And now she is hitting $250 million is what her fitness business is worth. So what is it about that? And so that's what I wrote about. And at the end of the day, the hypothesis basically is there's an internal value priority system that exists no matter what the circumstances are. In fact, I also interviewed 2 delightful autistic young men. One is an actor, Colby, and one is an international speaker, Neil, and yet he goes around the country speaking, but he can't speak, so he uses a special machine. What is that? What is that? And so it's basically Generation Why Not, and kind of integrated quantum physics, psychology, and a lot of the experiences that I experienced and worked with clients, and ended up with this book.
That's wonderful. You know, it's so interesting because coming from, you know, a really difficult divorce and then embracing the divorce whole aspect of it, you know, helping others through divorce, then moving forward into realizing that singles need a place to connect, you know, not necessarily, you know, just a dating site, but just a place where they can safely connect and have fun and all of that. It's it's how you evolve. And so you wonder, you know, how does one go from one place to a little beginning of despair to moving forward? And like you said, and then others, you know, are still trenched in that, you know, in that difficult life. And so that's very interesting. And Generation Why Not, I think would be a very, I have not read your book, which I'm going to, because I think it's going to be a very interesting book in which to read. And will kind of maybe answer some questions for us as to what is holding us back, right?
Right. So that's a very good question. And I too went through a horrendous divorce. And so what is that? So I've coined this term that's called quantum synchronicity. And there's 7 principles to this, and it's the heart of the book. And the 7 principles are our intention, our thoughts, and words are our thoughts, because our words come directly from what we're thinking. So words matter, thoughts matter, our beliefs, our decisions, our actions, momentum, and our environment. And so what usually holds us back is usually in the top 3, either the intention or the thought or the belief. So let me give you an example. I have had a client who is just brilliant, but he couldn't see that. He couldn't see how brilliant he was, and he simply did not think he was good enough. And when you look at that, so what's the intention? The intention was beautiful. He wanted to help people and use his God-given talents to do that. What were the thoughts? The thoughts and the beliefs are the things that were holding him back. He didn't believe he could do it, even though in a work situation as an employee he could do it, but he was dying to start his own business and he didn't think he could do it. And the words were, well, what am I thinking? What if I can't make enough money? Right now I have money. I know it's coming in every month. So we had to work all that, but there's more than that. There's more than that. Those thoughts and beliefs usually come from somewhere when we were younger. And they're usually between the ages of 2 and 8. And can you imagine making decisions based on how we see ourselves, how we believe ourselves to be, with the cognitive brain of a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old or a 3-year-old? And then from there on, once we make that pivotal decision, I'm not good enough, I'm not loved, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not, just choose your enoughs. And then we spend decades reinforcing, finding, oh, see, someone said out of 8 things that people may have said, we grasp that one that reinforces that not good enough. And unless we're able to say, you know what, 2 things. Number 1, you are the main character in your life, and you get to rewrite your story. You get to rewrite your story. But besides rewriting it, you also have to go through certain stages, the intention and thoughts, and be very awake, very conscious. I often say that we sleepwalk through life. We sleepwalk. We have this image of what we want our sweetheart to be. We sleepwalk through it. Have we really, really gone into depth what that really means? Really? And how does that fit in terms of who we are? And so we're always looking outside of ourselves. I want this, I want that, and that's perfect. But who are you? Not that who are you to want it. It's to know who you are and to know what your values and what's really important to you. And then here's the trick. Here's the treasure. When someone feels stuck, that's a knock on the door that goes, hello. There's a limiting belief in there or a limiting thought. Let's look at that. And you can do that through journaling, just by doing stream of consciousness journaling. You can do that by talking to someone. You can do that by visualizing something that you do want versus what you don't want. In this time of crisis, the worst thing we can do is keep our obsessive thoughts going. That's what causes anxiety, because we tend to futurize, or depression, which we are living in the past and we wish we coulda, shoulda, whatever that is. Well, it's right now. Right now we have the power to change our intentions and our thoughts and our beliefs, and then our decisions are based on our beliefs and thoughts. Our actions are based on our decisions. But if our decisions are based on our limiting beliefs or limiting thoughts, then you can see that there's going to be an issue there. If you're feeling that you're procrastinating, we tend to get upset with ourselves, or we hear people say rudely, or we think rudely, criticize ourselves that we're lazy. Procrastination has nothing to do with laziness. Procrastination is a variety of things. Number one, you may not know how to start. Number two, you may be overwhelmed. Number three, you may not think that you can do it. Number four, you have this underlying belief that this is not what you want to do. So the worst place you look when you're putting things off is action? No. It's going back up to what's the intention, what are the thoughts, and what are the beliefs, and then moving through resistance. You know, it's interesting, as I was writing this book, I had tremendous resistance, more so than I've ever had in any of my other 6 books. And what I realized was that I asked resistance, literally, because resistance is an aspect of us. Any limiting belief is an aspect of us. And I asked resistance, what do you want me to know? And immediately the response came back, Ruth, you're trying to write 3 books in one. You're trying to give people all the information that you know in one book. Give them the highlights. Give them what's important in one book. And that opened it up for me. Mm-hmm. So with that resistance is a treasure. When you're that procrastination is a treasure. If you're conscious and you go underneath and find out what it is. Otherwise, you just keep on going and it becomes a wild weed.
It's just so amazing what you said. And I can see why you would be on Oprah, you know, and all these other wonderful TV shows that you have. And it's quite an honor to have you on our show here today on the Going Solo Network. I do appreciate you coming. But you are so right with that. And it's funny because a friend of mine, you know, a lot of people have asked me with the virus that's happening that we're kind of in a little bit in a pause. We're not, you know, we're kind of stay at home, we're not active. And I'm more active than probably I've been in ages. And then my friend says, well, because you never have a pause button, you know, and it's not. I just look at, time of reflection is, to me, is a time of growth. And it's exciting, to be able to step back and take a breath.
Exactly. And here's the other thing too, and I don't know if you experience this. I have a sense that you do. When you're in alignment with what you're doing and you love it. Now, do you love everything about it? Of course not. But do you love 80% of it? Yes. And then the other 20%, hopefully we delegate out. But if you're in full alignment with what you're doing and you truly believe you're making an impact for others in the world, it's inspirational to you. Mm-hmm. You want to keep going. You keep getting, I often say I keep getting what I call divinely gifted downloads from the universe. And everyone gets them, but a lot of people ignore them. Or we're so frenetic. And this is perfect opportunity to take the big pause and to really check in. Is what I'm doing what I really want to be doing? Does it make me happy? Does it give me energy, or does it drain my energy? And look at each part of your life: personal, health, work, family, friends, community, home, food. Does it give you energy, or does it drain you? And you get to make the choice. You can continue to be drained, or you can take a pause and reconnect with that place inside of you that will give you energy, that will spark your spirit, that will put a smile on your face. Now, does that mean 100% of the time? No. But what if 80% of the time? And let's just say that you wanted to feel better or more in alignment 30% of the time. That's huge. Because once you make a pivotal decision that I'm going to start living in alignment with what's important to me and what fills me up emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, you won't go back. You can't go back.
Yeah, that's so true. It's amazing what you're saying, because it is absolutely the truth. I think when you find really what your purpose in life is, and it can be anything. I mean, it can be totally anything that you really choose for it to be. Once you find that, you're just so enlightened, and it's like turning a light on, right?
Yes, and it opens things up, because for your dating, for example, what's the intention? Are your thoughts, intention, thoughts, and beliefs? I'm single. That's a statement. I'm single. And if you want to be married, that's not a positive statement. And there's the statement, I'm married. And if you're not happily married, that's not a positive statement. So another way to look at it, just to be open to possibilities, because that's what this generation is. This generation is open to possibilities. They don't quit, and they don't see failure. They just see it as feedback. That's all. Instead of going this way, let's go this way. But they don't give up, and they don't like being said no to. And so in the dating world, it's really about having the intention of love and loving, that you want to attract love, and you want to be able to give out loving as well.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Right. And it's not about I'm single, which I'm not connected with a significant other right now. But when your intention is loving and love, then all of a sudden it doesn't matter that I'm single or married. I'm in the loving. And so now when I'm in the loving, literally my chest opens up, my heart opens up. And now I'm open to attracting the love and the loving, whether it's in a marriage, whether it's outside of not being married, whether it's single. And so if the person who's single wants to be married or with a significant other, then just you want to be able to attract the loving and be able to give the loving.
Mhm.
And the same thing in the marriage. It's not about being married, because that brings all kinds of things depending on how you see the world, what I call your perceptual lens. We've got to learn to look through a new, updated perceptual lens. And that's what Generation Why Not does. And that is why the hypothesis that I had is accurate, because this generation, not based on age, this Generation Why Not is driven by attitude, not age, not birth date.
Mm-hmm.
And in so doing, they're looking through a different perceptual lens. And that's
I totally agree with that, because I do feel, especially, I mean, everyone that's around me, they're just looking at life differently.
Mm-hmm.
It's not how I remember my parents at my age, you know. Well, my mom died very young, but my father or those around him, they just look at differently. It's almost like as if, what is retirement? You know, it's your view of retirement is totally different. And it can be quite exciting, you know, that kind of thing. So, and a lot of my friends are going into other works, you know, with coaching and different things like that. And it's not necessarily because they need the finances, it's because they need that. There's something driven within them that they have a feeling that they need to connect with other people to help them with their journeys. And it's amazing. It totally is amazing.
It's absolutely, and that is why this idea of retirement based on an age.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I often think, do people want to retire because they don't like their jobs? You know, I don't know, or like what they're doing. And maybe, I don't know. And here's the interesting thing. You know, you often hear, well, when I retire, I'm going to travel. Here's a novel idea. What about fitting in travel when you're 47,
Mm-hmm.
when you're 52 and a half, when you're 77 and 3/4? Fit that into your life now instead of waiting. Because your life is now. What you know for sure is this second. You don't know in an hour. You don't know in 2 weeks. 9/11, many people woke up, gave their loved ones kisses, and said goodbye, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do have right now, this is the gift. This is the gift right now. And literally every second, every minute, we get the choice to make a decision on how we're going to live our life. And that is based on attitude, has nothing to do with age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're so right. Well, I tell you, we're going to have to take a quick break. I'm loving what you're saying, and I so relate to it. And I know that others out there feel exactly the same way. They feel exactly the same way. So it's very exciting. And I think the world that we live in today, even though there's things going on, is a very exciting world. And so let's talk about that a little bit more when we come back. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, how you help people through, you know, developing their businesses, really growing their businesses. And so we'll talk about that when we come back. So I'm really excited about being able to share with the audience the second part of the show. So stick around, everyone. So you guys are, it's amazing what you guys are experiencing today with Ruth Klein. And I hope that you'll stay here for the second half of the show. But we're going to make a quick pause. And so just stick around here and we'll be right back. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And so let's get right back to the show. You guys are listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are on the Author's Corner, Meet the Author, and we have a wonderful lady here with us today. Her books are unbelievable. She's got like 6 books out there, and each one of them you want to rave about. So we're talking about her brand new book that she's got out today. Her name is Ruth Klein. Let's bring her back to the show. I'm so excited about having her. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It is so great having you. You know, the first part of the show was so outstanding. It just really just touched my heart because I totally get what you're talking about. Your new book, I believe, is just out of this world. Generation Why Not? And so let's talk a little bit about what you do to help people in their businesses, because I think that that's very, very important. Your books are really all geared towards enlightening those that really want to grow their business, who, have something that they want to be able to share with others. And so let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So I do branding and marketing, and I help people also write books, write TED Talks, write presentations and speeches, and certainly help them increase profitability in their business. And what is it that is the integrative force of all of that? It's really the person. And that is exactly what the brand is. Your brand literally is you. And many times entrepreneurs or C-level execs will come to me and say, Ruth, what are the marketing strategies I should be using? And I kind of look at them with a faint stare. I have no idea. Because first we have to identify who you are, what's your big why, what you do, and then we can communicate and try and find out which marketing channel is best. Because at the end of the day, marketing is just communicating what you do. But believe it or not, most, I'm not going to say most, many entrepreneurs don't really understand the value they bring their clients. And as a result, they don't charge what they're worth, and they are pretty much going around and around as a hamster would. They're putting in a lot of time. The people that I work with are very, very bright and have just beautiful, what I call heart-centered entrepreneurs, and they're kind of going around and around because there's so much out there. There's so much noise, and we get caught up in the noise so easily. So speaking about the big pause, whether it's this big pause or I always have my clients pull back and pause and ask them questions. And I often get this response, gee, Ruth, no one's asked me those questions before. Wow, that's a good question, because it makes you think about who you truly are at a deeper level than just the mental. I want to know the heart. I want to know how you see the world. And it's not just me, your clients. And depending on how you see the world, depending on your personality, depending on your big why, depending on all of these things, gives us clues as to what type of marketing strategies to do. I also use the personality of the extroversion introversion scale. And so I can tell an introvert to use specific marketing strategies that they will benefit from and they will actually do. If I share marketing strategies that an extrovert would enjoy, the introverted entrepreneur will come back and they'll say, and there'll be a lot of resistance. And so there's so many different marketing strategies that we have an opportunity to identify which ones work best with your brand, your personality, and what you want to be able to do in the world. I had a client in Canada, and she was working for what in America we would think of as the government in social services. And she didn't even realize that that was such an important part of who she is being open to that whole division of social services, and in that case, helping moms and children make a bigger impact in their lives. And so we ended up creating a brand and a business to go with it that was able to work with entrepreneurs and have the entrepreneurs have a social cause that they're interested in. And she ate that up because that's who she is. At the end of the day, deep down, that's her purpose. And so we have to incorporate all of that. Many times when someone starts a business, or perhaps they've been in a business and maybe they were in a different career at another time, and they kind of go like this, like, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. Well, no, that's not accurate, because when we're identifying who you are, when we're identifying your brand, we're really wanting to create a beautiful picture that has a lot of threads to it and a lot of texture to it. And so I often say that I help people identify all the pieces to their beautiful brand puzzle. And so everything you've ever done contributes. I'll give you another example. I was working with a unicorn in founding his business. And I found out that his hobby, and he's a young man, his hobby is World War II. And so that was huge. That was part of the brand puzzle that we put together. And that ended up being one of the marketing strategies and marketing targets that he was able to connect with, he did very, very well. So, one of my hobbies is dancing. And that is so important when I'm thinking and creating things, because I just had a live event back in October. And at the beginning of the live event and at the end of every day, it was a 2-day event, what did we do? We put on dancing music and we danced. And so everything that makes you who you are, we get to be able to utilize that, leverage it, monetize it, and be able to message it out into the world. And that's what people want. They want to know who you are. Because I love music and dancing, and I've been, I was a violinist forever growing up, and orchestras and playing piano, and that's a big part of my heart and spirit. That's always part of my live events and what we do. And that's what people want to connect to, with you, truly who you are, and your heart, your big why, and then they'll listen to what you do.
That's amazing. I've talked to many marketers over the years that I've been doing this, and they've always been very cookie cutter, just everything the same, everything exactly the same. And I've never felt that I belonged with them. Mm-hmm. And even once or twice, they tried to change everything that I did, it tried to change, what I was trying to do and all of that. And I go home thinking, confused as to, am I doing the right thing? Am I going, forward in the right way or whatever? But no one ever said to tap in on your own personality, on your own, the gift that you're given. No one's ever said that, and understand that we are different. So I think that's absolutely positive. I mean, truly positive for people and very inspiring. So I want to thank you for sharing that with us. That's
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Because people are holistic. I take a holistic approach, and
Mm-hmm.
and I first create the strategy. Very important, and that's all part of the strategy. It's the overarching vision, and you can think of your brand as an umbrella, and the spokes of the brand are the marketing strategies, mm-hmm. and the handle is, you're holding the handle. It's yours. It's you. Mm-hmm. and you have this covering that you're able to help others. So it's a beautiful holistic approach, and I think that truly is coming from my background, which is clinical psychology, spiritual psychology, business, and again, this whole idea that this generation, why not, is looking at a business holistically, 360, is looking at a CEO, 360, as looking at an entrepreneur, 360, and certainly developing and creating an innovative brand, 360.
Yeah, very much so. Well, I'd like to put up your website so anyone that would like to reach out and contact you, right there it is. It's ruthklein.com. So please, please reach out to her. It's ruthklein.com. So, and you know, if you're looking at marketing your business, if you're looking at putting a business together, if you're looking at anything that you think that she could possibly help you with, certainly reach out to her. And then, of course, her wonderful books, her new one, which is the Generation Why Not, but she's got several books out, and just a flavor. One of them is the Everything Guide to Being a Sales Rep, Time Management Secrets for Working Women, the De-Stress Diva Guide to Life. I mean, and it goes on because you have many, many books, and what a gift you are, Ruth. What a gift.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I will tell you, it's only because you know, I often say that you're looking through a mirror. You're looking through a mirror, because when we really connect with someone, there is something about them that's also inside of us, and it resonates. And that's the type of spirit heart connection you want to be able to work with someone, whether it's your attorney, your CPA, your coach, your whatever it is, your hairdresser, whatever it is. It's that connection that, again, feeds you energy versus drains your energy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, this is wonderful advice. I wish we could go on a lot longer. Unfortunately, we can't. But this is beautiful, this information that you shared. And again, we've got your website up there, ruthklein.com. Please, anyone, you know, reach out to her. Certainly read her book. It's a brand new book out. It's called Generation Why Not. Why not? You know, I mean, I think it's a perfect title, and very inspirational. So thank you so much for being on the show here with us today. Is there any closing words you'd like to share with our audience today?
I think that I would like to offer a suggestion that for the remainder of this year, to say yes more than you say no.
Wow. Beautifully said. Absolutely. And it's so true. You know, why not fill our lives in a positive direction, thinking, yeah, we can do it. We can make it happen. And when in doubt, we've got Ruth Klein to call. So that's what we need to be doing. So again, you guys, her website is ruthklein.com. And then her beautiful new book is called Generation Why Not. You can find it, I'm sure, on her website, but you can also get it on Amazon. All her books are right there on Amazon.com. Just Google her name, Ruth Klein, and right there on Amazon, and her books will all come up, and then you can get her books. But thank you so much again for being on the show. We so appreciate it.
Thank you. Really, it was fun, and you're fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're very sweet to say that. Wow, this time went by so quickly, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Man, I learned a lot here today. And what I learned is that, you know, our personalities are really a gift. And so rather than thinking we need to change in order to do business, let's just embrace who we are, right? And when in doubt, like I said, get an expert, get a professional that's going to lift you up, move you forward into the next horizon of where you want to be. And so please reach out to Ruth Klein, let her know what you're looking to do, and maybe she can kind of set the pace for you a little bit. But this is Going Solo, and I hope you enjoyed it very, very much. Our website is goingsolomedia.com. I am CC Schatz, the doyen of relationship building, and you guys were listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. This is the Author's Corner, Meet the Author, and we love Ruth Klein. So I hope you guys did too. So we will have to bring her back on again, talk about maybe one of her other books too. So I would love that. So I love you guys. We'll catch you the same place, same time. Bye.